Today's scripture reading brings us to Proverbs chapter 27. Proverbs chapter 27 is just several observations and bits of wisdom throughout a variety of different topics, as has been the norm for the past almost 20 chapters now, I believe, somewhere in that ballpark. And so I just want to look at a few of them with you here today, and a couple of them that are very, very interesting is verse number 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Now think about that just a minute. For someone to harshly correct you in front of people, that's what rebuke is. It's not a hey, it's like, no, you're wrong. Rebuke is where you are strongly correcting someone and displaying their error. Open rebuke is better than secret love. It is better for someone to correct you in front of people than for someone to love you privily. Now that's really amazing because, and then verse number 6 is kind of a companion verse, and then it says, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. So when you couple these things together, we're talking about rebuke and wounds. No one likes rebuke. Nobody likes to get hurt. But according to these verses, those things are better. And wounds by a friend are faithful. Telling you something that you may not want to hear. A friend, a good friend, will tell you that stuff, right? And that's better than kisses and love in secret and from an enemy. No one wants to be corrected, no one wants to be rebuked, and certainly don't want it in front of anybody. But the Bible is instructing us that that is better than someone loving us and our enemies kissing us. So it's just very interesting verses when you really begin to ponder upon that. Verse number 12 should sound familiar to you. It says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Now, I reviewed this about 4 or 5 days ago, the same verse, because in Proverbs 22:3, it says the same exact thing. Now, why does it say the same exact thing? That's a good question that's easy to answer. You see, God does not repeat himself for no reason. So by the repetition here, we should really take note that this is very important. A prudent man foreseeth the evil. He is looking out in front of him so that he may dodge the landmines that are in front, in his path. It says, but the simple pass on and are punished. So it's important for us to look out ahead of us and what our actions and our decisions will bring to us, so that we won't make the mistakes and step on those landmines that are in our path, but that we will foresee them and then avoid them rather than be punished. And then verse number 17, iron sharpeneth iron. This is, kind of the key verse from Ironworks Conference that they have the men down there. But read the verse in its entirety. It says, iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friends. And so the context is friendship, team friendship. All right, so the concept is friendship. And what this is indicating is that friends should be of like manner and like quality and I don't know what the word, substance, I guess, is the best probably word that I could come up with. In other words, iron doesn't sharpen mud, and mud doesn't sharpen iron. They don't do anything for each other. So it's important that we are not unequally yoked, because that was one of the things we can glean from this. Christians need to be companions with Christians because they will sharpen each other. But when a Christian is yoked up to a non-believer, then the non-believer is not sharpening the Christian, but he's dulling it. And then let's move on to verse number 20. This is a very damning verse. When you think about it, hell and destruction are never full. So it's speaking of hell and destruction. So the eyes of man are never satisfied. The comparison is the eyes of man. You think about that just a moment, that the eyes of man are compared to hell and destruction. And there's reason for it, is because all too often our eyes are leading us in places that bring us to destruction, lead us unto hell. So it's just kind of an amazing verse here. And then let's do this, and that's verse number 23 and 24. It says, "Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation." This is kind of another way of saying watch your pennies and your dollars, or take care of yourself. You need to pay attention to the things in which you have, because otherwise they are fleeting. All right? And that's going to do it for Proverbs chapter 27. Hope this has been a help to you. God bless, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.